Hi guys, Ron here and welcome to today's video. Now normally I show you all kinds of high-end bikes, but to be honest most of them look pretty much the same and have similar features to them. But what I'm going to show you today on this look bike is very different from anything I've shown you before. So this is a 795 Lite RS. This was previously Look's top model as of 2018. And it's their aero bike with a lot of integration and a lot of special features. So let's start at the front of the bike, where it's pretty neat as it is. So the first thing you can notice is that the full carbon stem flushly integrates with the top tube for a seamless fit. It has this rubber cover on it to keep things and cables nice and tidy, of course with the ETAP HRD group, so that's not all that difficult. The handlebar is pretty special too, because normally you get the brake hoses or the brake cables routed underneath or in the top section of the bar. Here you have it routed in the front with this aluminum insert that acts as a cable stop, which is also a pretty unusual feature. Then the mounting interface of the stem is quite unique as well. It's an aluminum band clamp that holds on a carbon fiber wedge to the rest of the stem, so it clamps down on the handlebar itself. The bike uses no hinge fork design, but still the front end is extremely neat and has a very small frontal area, so that's great for aerodynamics. And I reckon stiffness wise it must be pretty good as well, because it uses the oversized bottom. As for the wheels, this bike has currently Corima 47WS Plus clinchers on it, which are wheels you don't actually see all that often. Corima is also a French manufacturer, just as a look. And the unique things that I can pick out of these wheels are the lacing pattern. So the wheels use these pairs of spokes in the front wheel, and pretty unique lacing pattern in the rear as well, but more on that later. And the hub shell is super neat with the carbon fiber outer part, and all the nipples and fittings are internal. And also the skewer is super nice with this carbon fiber blade on it, so very high-end aero wheel set in this clincher format, with the new Conti GP 5000 clinchers to top it off. So pretty neat stuff. Head unit wise, you can see it's an SRM PC8 in a custom anodized color for the owner, that connects normally to an SRM exact power meter pedal, but today we don't have it on there because it's on a different bike for testing purposes. Now that I mentioned the pedals, I should also mention the crank and bottom bracket arrangement on this bike, because I think this is one of the most unique features that this bike has, and maybe Look in general. So the first thing that I really like is the fact that you can actually, I think this is the only crank where you can change the effective crank length in one single unit. So you can have 170, 172.5 as it is adjusted right now, and 175 with this. It's called the tri-lobe insert, so you pop that out, swap it over, and you have different lengths. So that's very neat, 3 cranks in one. But the other special feature of this crank set is that it's actually a single piece of carbon fiber. You can't remove the left crank arm, you just thread it through the bottom bracket itself. How do you achieve that? Well, it's because of the bottom bracket standard, because these bikes use a huge 65mm bottom bracket shell, unlike any other bike on the market. So This is actually the largest diameter there is, so it makes threading the crank to the frame possible. It also uses huge bearings, which is good for stiffness and also, I reckon, for longevity, so no creaking issues with this one. The other side of the crank arm is pretty interesting as well. Of course, carries on the same one-piece carbon fiber design and look. Also aerodynamically efficient, neatly integrated to the chainring mounts. The chainrings are standard 5-bolt 110 BCD chainrings or 130, you can use both. On this set of cranks, these are SRAM yaw chainrings to aid the shifting with the E-tap front mech. A thing that surprises me on this bike is that it still uses not the direct mount brakes, but the standard centrally mounted rim caliper, which of course it works, and with the red brake it's going to work just as fine. Another interesting feature, although a couple of bikes do have this, but it's not that common, is the fact that you actually have a full one-piece integrated seat mast. So you have to cut it to the saddle height. Of course, you can make small adjustments with the inserts to fine-tune your saddle height. And of course, in the clamp itself, you have huge amount of adjustability fore and aft. You can use different heads. So even despite that, it's pretty adjustable, although the obvious drawback is it's not as easy to fit in a bike bag, for example. But you have a lighter frame, more compliance, and yeah, more sideways stiffness potentially. The saddle itself is a Prologo NDR. This is a pretty modern saddle with a wide rear end and a short stubby wide nose with a central cutout. Pretty much a similar design to the Specialized Power or the Pro Stealth, so very modern, quite common these days. As I've mentioned, the drivetrain is SRAM Red E-tap wireless 11-speed with this custom colored oversized pulley wheel system, also specific to the owner. Gearing is 52-36 in the front, 11-32 at the rear, so nice wide range for climbing. Another thing you can notice in this part of the frame is the massive, and I mean absolutely huge, chainstays. These are probably the biggest ones I've seen to date. And then in the rear wheel also you can see the paired lacing pattern, which is pretty unique in terms of modern aero wheels. And also on the rear you get the nice carbon fiber hub shell and the carbon quick release skewer as well. Okay, so I think these are the most notable features of this bike. It's certainly unlike anything I've seen before. I've seen it on pictures where it's admittedly not as stunning, but here in person it's absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you have enjoyed this slow review, and in the following days I'll bring you some more interesting bike related stuff, so keep an eye open for that. And if you don't want to miss that, of course subscribe to the channel. And yeah, that's all for today. See you next time.